Nile Livingston, a public muralist with deep Philly roots, recently received lots of attention for 2 high-profile mural commissions at both the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and another in the neighborhood. Shara Dae Howard has more with our Newsmaker of the Week.
Nile Livingston considers herself a public artist. Her portraits and murals can be found all over the city, garnering her quite a lot of attention. She says each tell a specific story that she unearths by canvassing and talking to community members, sharing both Philly creativity and culture. She credits her deep Philly roots and unrelenting curiosity. Recently, she's been tapped to create 2 high-profile murals, one at the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and the other a mural that depicts the underground art of ballroom, an art form celebrated by Philadelphia's LGBTQ+ communities, which she says is vital to bringing about greater visibility, which speaks to the heart of being a public artist. Welcome, Noelle, to Bridging Philly.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Let's get started. You're a local artist with the real purpose, and you've been doing so much work, specifically in the community, finding ways to branch out and bring the community with you. Can you tell me about your most recent projects?
My most recent project is the Black Ballroom mural that I'm working on. It's going in the neighborhood. I think that I can't think of any murals that include this particular community. So I think it's just really important to have this representation out there and to help the people that are part of the Black Ballroom know that they're a part of the Philadelphia community as a whole. I'm really honored to be able to work on this and to make sure that it has the most authentic voice possible. So I'm just going through a lot of discovery and talking to people that are part of Ballroom to make sure that I'm using archival photos to reference and that it has the feeling that they want it to feel when it transforms into the final artwork.
So you're from Philly?
Yeah. I'm from West Philly. My family goes back 3 generations.
So art, is it a family legacy or is it something that you just you found a talent for?
It's definitely a family legacy. I had a really encouraging family growing up. My grandfather was an architect, so that got me really involved in things like urban planning and understanding communities and being a part of a neighborhood that goes beyond my immediate block and just understanding who's around me, being curious about the world.
That curiosity, a lot of people say nature versus nurture. I think it's kind of both.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you naturally start to follow a path that feels like it's the path of least resistance, that feels right for you. But it also really helps to know that people are pulling you through it too. So I'm really lucky to have a strong support system.
How does curiosity really feed what you do?
I think curiosity, it helps me focus on things that are larger than just myself, to look at things around me, ask questions or just observe and to make sure that I'm documenting and archiving it in a way that the people that I'm working with feels as though it's accurate and correct for them.
In Philadelphia, it's really hard to promote yourself. So let's talk about how you've been able to not only make your art, but create a whole space for yourself.
I think being from Philadelphia and then traveling to other cities, I feel like Philadelphia is a very supportive city in comparison to like New York or LA, where there's a lot of competition. Yeah. So I think Philly's just a really great space to be a creative and to be a part of a community or to find the right community. But in terms of observation, I think Philly is also very fast-moving. I think taking time to stop and observe is important, but also creating things that also causes other people to stop and slow down and observe, for me, is really important. For me, being observant, it's about looking at accessibility and how the everyday person or the lay person can interact with what they're looking at or experiencing. Just falling in love with public art, for me, it's very important that people can get to it and there's no barriers or walls or systems in place to prevent them from having this opportunity. And I think even growing up, my dad would take me to the art museum, but I had the most fun outside the art museum, climbing on sculptures and looking at things that were outside the building. And the murals around Philadelphia were really impactful in my life. We have the most murals compared to any other city in the world.
And now you're part of that.
Yes. So accessible art is really important in terms of observation in my world.
What's really cool about you is it feels like a lot of what you do is meant to serve a larger purpose.
I think for me it's about social justice and thinking about the impact it's going to have and trying to leave a positive mark on this world while I'm alive. So it could be political, but I think it's more so just about human rights.
And when we speak of that, which of your pieces comes to mind?
Growing up, a lot of Black cultural workers were mentors to me, so the Black and brown communities that we're a part of also helped influence the work that I do. Mm-hmm. My favorite piece that I've done is a Nina Simone painting. I really love her music. It's a portrait of her.
Where is that?
It's in my house. It tried to find a home, but I love it so much that I've always taken it back with me.
How often does that happen where you're like, you know what, I can't let this go?
It's almost been sold twice. Someone actually gave me the money, and then I gave the money back and brought it back home. So I think like just making art for a home is not good for me, but making art for outside of a building is a thing because everyone can share it.
So where can people see some of your work?
It's all throughout the city. I've done a lot of temporary murals, so my website is a good place to get photos of things that I've done that may not be up anymore.
Right.
So yeah, just visit NileLivingston.com. It's spelled like the Nile River, N-I-L-E.
So recently you were commissioned to do a piece. Can you tell me about that and what that means to you and what that means to the community? That's a lot.
Jason Ballman reached out to the Mural Arts program. He's a part of the Philadelphia Black Ballroom scene, and the project has been trying to come to life for over a year. We finally got funding from a grant, and we locked in a wall. And so I'm going through a discovery process and talking to people about ballroom and learning more about their ancestors, and they're pulling up photos and VCR tapes and footage. And I'm capturing screen captures to use as reference photos and talking to them about their inspiration and their values and what feeling or emotion they want this mural to give off. Right. So this is a project that's really fun for me right now.
Yeah. And I think it's really important that people not only recognize the underbelly of Philly, but our history that the underbelly speaks to.
For sure.
And ballroom is that.
Yeah, the Black ballroom scene, I feel like these are folks that are really on the margins. So it's really important to have this image up and to show that these are people that need to be included in our conversation of what is Philadelphia.
Representation matters. It really does. Yeah. Now, you're not only an artist, but now you're an entrepreneur. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so Creative Repute is the name of my graphic design agency. It grew from a solo practice to now working with a deep bench of specialists. And it came because I had the problem of getting too many requests that I couldn't fulfill as an individual. So I called in other creatives and friends and specialists and people who knew even more than I do about like coding websites and things like that. Yeah, so over the years, Creative Repute has grown. We work with a lot of nonprofits or organizations that are trying to make a positive change in the world, or people that are just aligned with our values. We provide marketing services, graphic design, and website development.
Now you're giving other artists an opportunity. I mean, you've bridged so many parts of Philly in art. Why is that important to you?
I think I've had a lot of great mentors in my life, so it's for me an honor to be able to work with other people. I think I said this earlier in the interview, just working on something that's larger than yourself is important. You can accomplish so much more with others. So being able to collaborate for me has been really life-affirming.
So let's talk about this CHOP project. This is a big deal.
Yeah. So the Children's Hospital mural, the walls are mammoth size. They're humongous for an interior mural. And it's in the Hub building, which is for their staff. Looking at what the architect's plans are, it seemed like they designed the building for people to bump into each other and for it to be really collaborative. So I wanted the mural to also feel like a collaboration and a collage. So I went through Children's Hospital's archival photos, and I pulled images of as many diverse people as I can find so that the mural's also looking forward into the future and reflective of the possibilities. And I drew it in the style that feels almost childlike, and the goal is to remind the staff who they're of service to, which are the children and families. So this was a really fun mural to work on. It's vibrant, it drips and splatters with color, and you can see it from outside the building even though the building's designed for the staff.
What about art speaks to you, and what would you like it to say to others?
So for me, my art feels like a diary entry. It feels like it's documenting me becoming into myself each step of the way, and it's documenting the people that I interact with throughout my life. For others, I just want to leave it up to interpretation, but my hope is it has a positive impact on them.
Leave the world better than you found it.
I hope so, yes.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Back to Bridging Philly from KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.